All right, everybody, welcome back to Zero's Album Review, the show where I talk about music I've been listening to. This is a special episode. There's no camera because I have a special guest. He's my friend and co-podcaster over at the Very Noise Podcast. It's Jordan, is Excalibur.
It's me. Hello.
Yeah.
Hi, y'all.
So he's here. He's here today because he's the one who got me into this band. We're going to be talking about Enter Shikari's Take to the Skies.
Ooh, classic.
My favorite album of theirs, yours is Common Dreads, right?
Yes, correct. Common Dreads is, I think, there, which is funny because a lot of people sort of decided to depart from the band when they heard that album because it was vastly different to Take to the Skies.
It's funny because I feel kind of that way with Hope's Fall because I really like A-Types, but a lot of people don't like A-Types from Hope's Fall. They like Satellite Years and shit like that. So
yeah,
I don't know. I feel you on that. But Take to the Skies is just one that I've had it ever since you introduced me to them. I've had it on my MP3 player, and it's an album that I go back to all the time. Like I've listened to it at least once a year because I was that into it. And it's just funny because I got introduced to this band through Common Dreads because you did that friggin' thing at the end of the Negiment episode.
Oh yeah, I sang Hectic, wasn't it?
Hectic, and I was like, "What the fuck is this?" So I just looked. You were just, "Oh yeah, it's the song Hectic," and I looked it up, and I'm like, "What the fuck?" And I'm like, "Oh, these guys are pretty rad." And then I looked up more stuff, and of course, came across "Sorry You're Not a Winner," and then the albums and all that stuff.
Yeah,
so, I haven't been a fan of every single album. I do like the Minesweep. But I wasn't a fan of
Flash
some
Flood?
of the other ones.
I know Flash Flood and The Spark are quite different too.
I'm not a fan of those ones. I do like some of the tracks on them, but I think my favorites gotta be this one we're talking about, Take to the Skies and Minesweep. I really liked Minesweep.
Yeah.
So
my favorite's Common Dreads, then followed by Minesweep, and they have a new album coming. I'm pretty sure it's Nothing is True and Everything is Possible, I think. Yeah.
At Flying Rhino Junior High. Yeah, Nothing is True and Everything is Possible.
Yeah,
You're
correct.
Right. So
yeah.
that's the next one.
So
and they've got a single out right now, right?
Yeah, called Dreamers Hotel, and it's very Common Dreads sounding. It's got that grimy kind of electronica that was introduced in that album. But they did say that, I know we're talking about the new album, we should probably talk about the old album, but they did say that this album's going to be like a collective of their genres, like from the previous albums, and is splashed into one. Okay. So this will be like the ideal way to show someone, hey, this is Enter Shikari, you should listen to them. So
that's cool. I may have to listen to it when it comes out.
Absolutely.
And, talk about it. Yeah. So anyways, Take to the Skies, this is their first studio album?
Yeah, their first album. They believe they dropped a few demos of the track lists, like the songs from this album beforehand, which were just sort of obviously raw, not as well-produced versions of the songs.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember there being like because there's two it was weird. There was like for a while on Apple Music, like Take to the Skies wasn't there, and then it was suddenly on there. So, and I noticed that the version that I have on my MP3 player, I think that's the original release. Like, I can't remember how I got it. I think I bought it off of like Bandcamp or something.
Yep. Okay.
And the Apple Music version is slightly different. There's a different mix to the track, so maybe they like tweaked it.
They may have done they may have not re-recorded but reproduced, as in like sort of cleaned it out a little, because I know a lot of bands do that. I mean, Dance Gavin Dance did that. They they did a cleaner version of I can't remember what album that was. The first album with Tillian.
It was Acceptance Speech, the first one that
Tillian sang on.
His name was in. Tillian was in. And it's funny, I listened to the new Acceptance Speech, I can't hear the difference.
I can a little bit. Maybe I can just a little bit. I think the vocals are a little cleaner and a little bit.
Like it's not like Alexis on Fire's first album where the drums were really fucking terribly recorded, so they recorded all the drums and cleaned stuff up. That I noticed.
Yeah,
but like with this one, I'm like, this was already produced very well. You didn't need to whatever. Maybe it was bothering them or something. But anyways, back to the album in hand.
Yes.
I think the reason that I really like Take to the Skies is it's an album that I can listen to front to back or in a random order, and I very rarely skip the songs.
There is only one
listen to
song
everything.
that I genuinely just don't really enjoy, and that's Johnny Sniper. I actually don't really like.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I don't really like Johnny
I
Sniper.
love Johnny Sniper.
I know. I mean, like, obviously, Enter Shikari are always going to be. I feel like they're always going to be my favorite band, unless they absolutely just don't do well on this next album. But I still think I'll love them anyway, regardless. But there's no songs I absolutely just don't like. But Johnny Sniper is probably my least favorite on the album, and I would skip that one if I, came to it, I suppose. But
I think since we're talking about like worst, like the worst songs of the album, I think the earliest track, I don't know if it's called
Stand Your Ground.
It has a few.
Stand Your Ground. This is Ancient
Stand
Land.
Your Ground. Yeah, it has another name too, though. Like I don't know, maybe just
probably like Intro 1 or something. I don't know. There's actually quite a few intros, and
I could have swore it was just called Enter Shikari, but I feel like that's not right. So maybe I'm thinking of a different track. But
actually, it is called Enter Shikari. You're right. The song is called Enter Shikari. Hold on.
Yeah, because
the version
I remember because on my MP3 player it's called Enter Shikari. So I'm like, oh, it's just a self-titled track, I guess.
Because there's a part where Rao growls Enter Shikari over and over.
Okay, so maybe
so from what I can see, because it's a 17-track album, there is Stand Your Ground, This is Ancient Land, which is the intro to Enter Shikari. They're apparently split up in the original release.
Okay, because I'm looking at the Apple Music one right now, and they're one song.
They're one song, yeah. So it'd be like a 4-minute song, while Stand Your Ground is 1 minute, and Enter Shikari is only 2 minute 52.
But yeah, what's your favorite track on the album?
Favorite track on the album? I mean, like it's for the longest time, I've always said that "Sorry You're Not a Winner" is one of their best songs, right? It's probably the best song on this album. However, I feel like the track "Return to Energizer" is my favorite.
You know, it's funny. I was going to say my favorite track is a tie between "Return to Energizer" and "Mothership."
Yeah, Mothership's fantastic. "Return to Energizer," like the lyrics at the start were "You look like you rented a smile." That's a really, really cool lyric. I like the lines there. But yeah, it's a lot of like this album is a lot of obviously electronica, metalcore, post-hardcore goodness sort of smacked into one. It says here genres: rock, post-hardcore, metalcore, electronica, and trance music. So
that's the genre on Apple Music. It just says rock.
Yeah, it ain't that.
Just for anybody who goes to listen to on Apple Music, I don't know if it's the same on Spotify, but the version of "Sorry You're Not a Winner" is a remix version. It's not as good as the original album version. I think that version's better.
Oh, really? Is it? It's remixed, like completely remixed.
Yeah. First off, they took the intro from the video out of it.
Oh
like,
no!
The little,
the
bit
drums,
that leads into it, and
like the real
like
sort of
boo doo doo, like that little thing that leads into it.
Start, yeah,
they took that shit out, and they changed bits of it, and I think that's his name, right?
Rao.
Is that his name?
Rowton.
Rao.
Yeah.
He re-recorded some of the vocals, and they don't sound as good. So I'm like, oh man,
that's a shame. I might have to listen to this because it might be different for mine. That's
the app that when I first listened to the Apple Music version in my car, I'm like, this doesn't sound right. Do I have an audio issue? It's like, no. They just changed part of the song. I'm like, that's the quintessential Enter Shikari song. Yeah, you can't just change that.
That is very strange. Yeah, that is very weird.
But like this, like every it's hard for me to like kind of go into what makes this album so great. It's really, like I said, it's a front to back album, or in any order, I guess you could say, because like I said, there's not a track on here I would skip on a regular basis. Maybe once in a while, like I don't want to listen to, I don't know, No Sweat, or
I enjoyed No Sweat, but yeah,
or like certain other tracks, like some of the just the
slower
ones that are just like little fills for like a minute or whatever.
Yeah, the intros, yeah.
But I mean, like, I'm just looking at the track list. I'm like, okay, like we talked about Mothership, we talked about Return to Energizer. Anything can happen in the next H because it's cut off on my phone.
Yeah, anything can happen in the next half hour. Yeah, half hour. And those songs, like at the end of the album, I feel like the start of the album is a lot more solid than the
Today Won't Go Down in History.
Yeah.
Like I like I know that you said it wasn't your favorite, but I always, just because of the time frame when I listened to this album for the first time, I always think of Johnny Sniper as our buddy Chomper 17's theme song.
Johnny, yeah.
Because at the start, the guy's like, "Okay, Johnny, da da da."
Yeah. Oh, hello. But yeah, it's I think, and what's funny is, like, I adore this album, don't get me wrong. I think it's a fantastic album, but they've grown so much as a band that this album sounds so different compared to what they've sort of transitioned to. And Shikari have always been known to crush the boundaries of genre and just sort of do whatever they want. I mean, their latest release, besides this next release that hasn't come out yet, The Spark, it was a very pop 80s kind of punk rock, but slash, like, you know, poppy, sort of jumpy album, which is hilarious since the album's very sad lyrically, and it happened at a time where Rao lost his grandmother, I think, and he split up with his missus. So I think it was a bit full on and a bit emotional for him. That's why the album was so different, and a lot of people sort of didn't understand and weren't as interested in it. But this album is like the start, an aggressive kind of start to their legacy, I guess.
I think there's a good way and a bad way to approach evolving your music. First off, Enter Shikari has always been one of those bands that doesn't act like their past didn't happen. Like, they still play all those old songs, they embrace it.
Yeah.
There's a bad way to do it, and that's what Bring Me the Horizon, where, like, they don't act like it never happened, but they say, yeah, we don't really play any of those songs anymore. I've seen them live a couple of times, and they play maybe one track off of Suicide Season, for example.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
They'll only play, like, stuff off the most recent or most previous album. And I haven't done a review on it because I think their new album's fucking garbage.
Ooh.
So I don't want to say anything about it.
That's
but
a
apparently
hot take.
People are like, this is their best album, and it's like, no, their new album's fucking garbage.
I think their new album's definitely a lot different, and it's one of my least favorite of theirs. But yeah, no. What Bring Me the Horizon have done is they've shifted gears. They've become a little bit more, I guess you could say, commercial, but not commercial, just commercially acceptable. And I think as a band, they wanted to progress, and they felt like they couldn't continue the deathcore, metalcore sort of thing. That's totally fine. But
and the thing is, like, I'm not saying they can't. What I'm saying is, like, don't go so far in one direction that you don't like all the people who were fans of your music from the beginning.
Yeah.
Well, who might not like the new stuff, like me. Have no reason to go see you live or go see this thing because you're not going to play the music that was like, and I'm not telling artists to not do what they want, do whatever you want, but like with what I'm trying to say is that, like, Enter Shikari does it right because they know that people like their old stuff too. Yeah. Every band knows that people likes their old stuff, but they also want to push the new stuff and be creative and whatnot, and that's good. Yeah. But like somebody like Bring Me the Horizon's like here's one song of our old stuff, and you can listen to all newer stuff. And I mean, I don't like that nearly as much.
I mean, Oliver Sykes still has it. He's still got it. He can still scream like a madman. In like they played Pray for Plagues quite recently, and he did it. They did it like exceptionally well. It was so well done. It sounded almost like it came straight from the album. I would even go as far as to say it sounded like they just like played the song over the top of them, but they were playing it live. But it's like,
just for example, when I went to see them live, the only song they played off of Suicide Season was Chelsea Smile. Yeah, that's the only track they played.
And I mean, I guess that's they're trying to depart from that whole older metalcore / deathcore thing. But
it was funny. I was at the show with my brother. He was only familiar with their most recent stuff. He's like, whoa, that song was intense. I'm like, yep, that's from their like second album, second or third album.
And then their first album's not even on Spotify, which is hilarious to me.
Yeah, it's not on Apple Music either. Yeah, you can't find it.
They really just don't want to. Anyway, it doesn't matter. We're talking about Enter Shikari here. I guess another thing to say about this album is it did sort of start their career, right? And a lot of people were expecting the next album to be just that electronica metalcore sound, right? And then they just straight up went grime electro post-hardcore and like all that kind of stuff in the next, which is funny to me because I'm quite an avid fan of The Prodigy. Rest in peace to the singer. But The Prodigy were that really kind of electro drum and bass, and Shikari just straight up were like, yeah, we're going to borrow a lot of inspiration from Prodigy and all those sort of underground electro, like London grimy dubstep sort of, you know what I mean? Like that's where like dubstep originated from. So
it's not to say that Common Dreads is a bad album. I'll still listen to it at any time, but like, if I have my choice between it or Take to the Skies, I'm gonna pick Take to the Skies over it pretty much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just because.
And another like, you go. Sorry.
Just like the energy of the album just feels like they have this like they have a good mix of like the hard hitting stuff and the somber stuff, and it's just a great all around package. Especially if you like. Well, I wouldn't say especially if you like metalcore, but if you like the softer side of those kind of that kind of music, like they're not very screaming. Like there is screaming obviously in this album because it's of that genre, but it's not as like hard. It's not like hard into it as say something like an Underoath or like something. What else from the like anything else that I could think of from that time frame? Like it's not not the same like thing. Attack, not the same thing. It's more singy, I guess you would say, and more electronic. And what I actually enjoy about Take to the Skies, what I'll say is, compared to most Underoath albums, you can hear the electronic stuff. The problem with most of Underoath's albums, the mixing is so horrendous that you cannot hear the electronic stuff unless you've got a really, really good sound system.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that they gave it the time of day so that it's hearable.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's what their point was. They wanted to make it that they were one of the first metalcore bands that were like, we're essentially electronica metalcore, not metalcore electronica. They sort of wanted to throw that dance / electronica / trance music in there as a prominent feature, as opposed to like, you know, the full on metalcore and then maybe a little bit of a breakdown and a little bit of electronica. And that's where I feel like they stand a little bit to the right of like out of the way compared to like Underoath and what else did we say? What was the other one that we said before? Not Bring Me the Horizon.
There's so many
Skylit Drive, stuff like that. They all had electronica in it, you know, like
that one band that you had me do the review.
Sky Airplanes. Yeah, they were very much like that. Their first album was just, I didn't like it, but their first album was just straight up like electronica, like almost prominently, and then strange metalcore here and there.
Yeah.
But this album, again, going back to the point, was like, I don't know. It introduced everybody, and then they sort of flipped them on their heads with Common Dreads. Also, another thing with Common Dreads was it was an extremely, I guess, political album. I wouldn't say extremely, but compared to like their last album, they did have a shift in focus on like what they, you know, like, Enter Shikari has always been about triumphant and you know, crushing borders and stuff like that.
I was gonna say that Take the Sky sounds like a very happy album.
Yeah, it's
like
triumphant.
Album.
It's triumphant,
like,
chummy.
Like we're gonna hang with the boys and have a good time kind of album. Like, it's not, and I appreciate that about it because it's ironic how much like metalcore from the time is trying to push a political stance, and how much of it is just weird random crap. Like I wrestled a bear once, for example.
Absolutely. That was what do they call that? Avant-garde. That's what the genre was. It's like an avant-garde grindcore.
Avant-garde.
Yeah.
I just call it what the fuck core at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it was just everything. There was just like dogs barking in some of this. Like I don't understand. But anyway,
But anyways, if just to wrap this up, I'd say like personally, I would say that like Take the Skies for me is like a solid 9 to like a soft 10.
Yeah.
Like I would it's almost perfect in my mind for just not just a metal album, but just a musical album in genre. It's got a little bit of everything that somebody that you might enjoy, and I like I said, it's one that I can throw on anytime. It's not so heavy that I can't listen to it when I'm not into heavy music, but it's not too light that it's like, oh, well, I don't want to listen to something that's so lighthearted. I can put it on anytime. And like I said, I'm overly exaggerating this, but I at least listen to it once a year, because I definitely listen to it more than once a year. It's getting more like once a month at this point.
Yeah, and I mean, like, it's funny, I haven't listened to the whole album as a whole for probably a few months now, because I've been sort of trying to explore a lot more different music, and I mean,
Same.
as much as I will always love, I think until like the day I die, I'll always sort of love that heavy metalcore electronica stuff, right? But I've also decided it's good to change it up and listen to some different things and a little bit more unique.
Yeah.
But I will say that Enter Shikari, in my opinion, are probably one of the most unique outfits out there, like the most unique bands that I've ever listened to. I've seen them live 4 times. I've seen them twice in their own concert, and I've seen them twice at a festival, and they both times, or for each kind of what's the word? Like venue. Each venue, they were always putting out 101%. And I honestly believe that this.
You met Rao, right?
Yeah, I actually met Rao. Yeah, we had a small chat. It wasn't anything more than sort of, hey, can I take a picture? I love your work. Honestly, you've helped me and saved me, and he felt really humbled by it. And like he legitimately did. Like Enter Shikari's music have really, really helped me in the past. God, how long have I been listening to these guys for? At least 11 years. And
I've missed every chance I've had to go see them in Canada.
Trust me, dude. It is so worth it. I feel like it's almost like they're a band you have to see before you die. It's
and
just
Shikari play another show in Toronto.
I mean, they will. I'm pretty sure they'll play a lot more. They said that because they had a 3-year gap between coming to Australia and their last album. And the last time, they came, and like they said live, like just before they like wrapped it up, they're like, "We promise you that we will be visiting you a lot sooner than you think." So I'm assuming this year, at the end of this year, they'll come again and play the new album. But yeah, I hope they do go to Toronto. That'd be fantastic. I want you to see these guys. They're so worth it. Rao, all the boys on stage, they're all just so like lovable. They change it up live as well. It's not the same old thing every time, and every time they play a gig, it's a different set list. It's just, and they remix it a little bit as well, just to make it a little bit more spicy. You know, it's yeah. But anyway, I mean,
but yeah,
honestly, if you want my opinion on the album, I think it's a solid. This album is a solid like 8 to 9. But I feel like, you know, if we were talking about Common Dreads, it's like 10 out of 10 perfect, absolutely nothing wrong with it. But like, yeah. But like, obviously, I mean, I enjoy Enter Shikari as a whole. I don't think they have a terrible album. I think that all their albums are great in their own way. That's a personal bias. But
just so I don't have to review it, Common Dreads is like a 7 to an 8 for me.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Common Dreads, if anything, maybe I'll review it. I'll talk about why the album is so important. But like, yeah,
maybe we should talk about it on that podcast that we do together.
Hey, we should. I mean, it's funny, we've completely like not talked about Flash for the Color at all. But that Flash for the Color. I mean,
sorry,
like,
what?
Flash for the Color.
What is Flash for the Color?
That's the album after Common Dreads.
I know.
Oh.
It's a joke.
Oh, funny joke.
Because I think those years were just a blur for me.
Yeah.
You'd be like, oh yeah, check out this new song. I'm like, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you don't. But I remember you saying you're not a big fan of dubstep, and that album was just so inspired by dubstep.
It's not that I'm not a big fan of dubstep. I've kind of learned to like it, but it's just like, I have to be in a certain mindset for electronic music.
Yeah.
Like, it's like one of those things where like, I don't want to listen to it all the time. I mean, I review video games, for Christ's sake. Of course I like electronic music.
That's fair enough. There's a lot of electronica in video game music.
But yeah, I don't want to make this go too much further, but I guess that's basically it.
25 minutes.
Is there anything you want to promote other than our podcast that we do?
Not really, my friend. I mean, like, basically, what the podcast and the thing that I'll be working on with Hyperion, eventually that'll come out, I'm assuming. There's not much, mate. Like, I've just been working and scrambling some ideas. I've actually even considered possibly trying to make my own music one day, but that's a long thing in the future. I feel like, give me a year or two and maybe I'll have something set up. But that's just a side thing. It's a hard thing, music. It really is. Like,
it's a grind. Yeah, the hardest thing for me is drums. I just can't make drums. I
can sort of. I think we've talked about this. I can sort of do the drum thing. But anyway,
I'm literally at the point where I'm like, I need someone to make the drums for me because I can't make good drums.
I don't even know what genre I would do. I don't know if I would do electronica, if I would do rock, if I would do anything heavier. I don't think I have that in me. It's just, yeah. I mean, anyway, I digress.
Yeah.
It's a great album. So definitely listen to it.
But I'll go ahead and shill the podcast. So we're both part of a podcast called A Very Noise Podcast, aka the Noisecast,
aka the Very Noise Boys.
We are the hashtag Noise Boys in that podcast. By the time this comes out, a new episode will be out.
I would believe so. Yeah. I hope so.
Yeah,
I'm working on it, so I hope I will.
I have another video that's coming out before this. So this
wonderful! Yeah, absolutely. It'll be out then. I mean, I'm trying to get it done by. I won't say the date, but soon.
But yeah, if you want to keep up to date with what I'm doing, you can follow. You know where to find me on my social medias: Zeromaster fan page on Facebook, at Zeromaster on Twitter. You can get early access to this review and others, and behind the scenes shit on Patreon. And of course, I stream 3 times a week on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time on twitch.tv/Zeromaster. Leave me comments down below on what you guys want me to talk about. I'm taking suggestions right now, and I will see you on the next one. Take care and rock on.
See you later.